you some tips and suggestions, and also to introduce you this beautiful tour that maybe you're going to be coming like in 2022. Okay. Then, Elizabeth, you want to start a bit? We're going to be talking about one of the most beautiful tours that we have in all our EF programs, in all our EF tours, that is mostly covers many and beautiful and places that they are very well known also to you. That is the tour Grecian Odyssey. Okay. And more or less in all this presentation, I'm going to show you what you can be expecting. But before I'm going to be starting, I want to give you like a 30 seconds to think or what comes in your mind when you hear Greece, Greeks, or when is this word appearing to you. You can write and you can use the chat if you want to type the word, what is coming to your mind. Or if you want to open your microphone, Athens, Sparta, yeah?
When I think of Greece, I think of Greek mythology.
Mythology, arts, Olympian gods, food, Greek gods, statues,
baklava.
Baklava, Greek yogurt also is good.
Someone said philosophy.
Philosophy, Mamma Mia, yes, it was filmed here in Greece, in one beautiful island. Cheese,
Pythagoras.
Pythagoras, Nikos, I think it's a bar, it's a cafe in Houston, I think.
Very good.
Very good one. Pythagoras, yes, all this, the Odyssey, Archimedes, Percy Jackson, Santorini, philosopher, Greek gods. Yes, if you do next.
Yes.
Then I create like a word cloud, I think it's called, with all these different things that really they can be coming to your mind when it's about when Greece comes to your mind, like Odyssey, like music, like also our letters, the alphabet, alpha, beta, gamma, delta, the pi, also the mathematical symbol from Pythagoras, the pi, 3.16, the columns, the Doric, the Ionic, the Corinthian, the gods like Poseidon, Apollo, the Trojan War, or that it wasn't here in Greece, but it started from here. The coins, the ancient coins, Santorini with the famous blue domes. All these things I'm going to be trying to make them to discover to you in this presentation. Because Greece, to know a bit more about it, yes, it's one of the sunniest countries in the world. We have more than 300 days with sun per year. Maybe it can be similar to Houston, that you have a very good weather, like we said before, but really we have a very nice weather, and really, although it's winter now, today was really sunny day, a nice place, also a nice weather for being outside. The mainland in Greece is important, but also the islands. We have more than 6,000 islands. Not only just Santorini or Mykonos or Crete, we have also several ones, but only no more than 227 islands with people living there, inhabited with people. The other ones, they are pieces of rock that also is an island, and they form all this group of islands that there are more than 6,000. If you think, I know some of you, at least Mrs. Chapman and Jennifer, they have been here in Greece. Maybe if you think that Greece is flat, forget about it. It's not flat. It's like 80% of Greece is made up of mountains. And the mainland and also the islands, we are at the end of the Balkans. And the Balkans, you know, the mountains that they are coming from the East European countries is like the end. And really, we have very big percentage of mountains driving around in this beautiful tour, if you come. The highest mountain, of course, is the Mount Olympus. Okay, it's in the north part of Greece. and it's the mountain where supposedly in the ancient Greek times, the gods and the goddess Zeus, his wife Hera, and all the other ones that were living there. Also, we have the most extensive coastline among all the Mediterranean countries. Okay, all the Mediterranean countries together with Italy, with Spain, because we count all the perimeter, and perimeter is a Greek word. Okay, then counting all that, it makes more than more than 14,000 kilometers around, and counting all the perimeter of the islands. But Greece, in the country, the population is one of the smallest countries in the European Union or in Europe with population. We have like around 11 millions, and mostly 40% of the people, of the total population, they are living here in Athens. Like close to 5 millions, they're living here, and it's the largest city where I live. Where I live is like in the city center, that you can imagine, like in any city center, is like traffic and cars, and I can go walking distance to the Acropolis. I don't have that view that you can see in my background. Just if I put my head outside of the balcony, and then I can see a bit the Acropolis, but it's a big city. But the name Greece is not the real name. For the Greeks, we don't say Greece, we say Hellas ή Ελλάδα. Ελλάδα is the name. That is coming supposedly from the son of the land, the land of the sun, because sun in Greek is Ilios, then Ilios, Hellas, or Ελλάδα also from Helen, not from Helen of Troy, another one, and also maybe the first time that we start to know about Greece, that term, it was from Homer in the Iliad, that he refers to the Greece as Grecia, as Hellenes too. Also, one of the things that we produce all over the country, we can be that we are the third largest producer of olives, the olive oil, that oil that also you have in the States, that really mostly grows in the Mediterranean. And the first country all over the world, like you know, is Spain. The second one is Italy. The third one is Greece. And Greece, all over the country, we have olive trees, also in the islands, and it's something that you will see driving through the beautiful places we have in our tour. Also the birthplace of the Olympic Games, but the birthplace of the Olympic Games in the ancient times and in the modern times. In the ancient times, remember, they were the place where they started Olympic Games dedicated to Zeus, the father of all the gods, and also the revival of the games, the modern games, they started here in Athens in 1896. And from here, like every 4 years, not this one is like, we know, in a special year, then they are going to different cities. Also, the Greeks, the ancient Greeks, they invented the theater, and theater is a Greek word too. That the theater was created here in Athens, and from Athens was going to the different polis of different city-states, and they created also the comedy, the tragedy. One of the traditions also in Greece is that we celebrate our birthdays, of course, but mostly we celebrate our name days, because we have like a name day for each day of the calendar. And then following the calendar Orthodox, from the Orthodox religious, then we know for sure the name day of a person. Sometimes we forget the birthday of your friends or your husband or your wife. We have Facebook that helps for the reminders, but the name day we don't forget. And then really we celebrate it, and we have like important name days, like for example the 15th of August, that is for the Virgin Mary, or also for Saint Costas or Saint Helen, and they're very well celebrated, and we make also parties at home or outside with friends. There are many Greek words, and we are going to be going into later, but for example, music is a Greek word. Music is coming from the word muses, okay? And muses is the 9 goddess of the arts in Greek mythology, and they were living very near to Delphi, a mountain, and then it's like a Greek word too, from many also words that you use in English, because you are there. I know in your school you are studying different languages too, like Spanish or like a Russian or French too, but maybe you know and you speak Greek more than really you think, and we will see it later. You want to?
Yeah.
Thank you. Then this itinerary, the Grecian Odyssey itinerary, really it's like a tour that fills all the most remarkable places in the country. Starting like in these 9 days, you're going to be able to see many of the highlights of the country, like starting from Athens and staying like 3 overnights, 3 nights in Athens. We will be going also, we will be visiting different places that I will tell you in a minute in Athens, but also from there we're going to be exploring the Peloponnese, going to the area of Argolis, that is this peninsula that you can see there, that I put like in a map. But if you look in my hand, looks like a leaf, like a hand like this. That one is the Peloponnese. And then also to go to ancient Olympia and going to Delphi and getting back to Athens. It's like a loop, really a beautiful loop, traveling around and visiting all these highlights. Athens, yes, the main city. Athens, or in Greek, is Athena. And Athena, who is she? The goddess of wisdom, the famous goddess, the daughter of Zeus, that thanks to the gift that she gave to the city of Athens, remember, the olive tree, and the branch of the olive tree, then the Athenians, they decide to build that ruins, that temple that is up in the Acropolis. And for that reason, Athens is called Athens, or in Greek, Athena. But the symbol of Athens, or the symbol of the goddess Athena, is the owl, that bird that I put it there because it's the symbol of wisdom, okay? I put also some photos from the new lights. You can see like in the night, because this one has been like 2 months ago. We have like a new lighting in the Acropolis with LED. That is like a fantastic show, and it's much better to see the Acropolis from far away, because here in Athens you can see the Acropolis from everywhere, and you can see the Parthenon. The Parthenon is the main building at the Acropolis that is dedicated to the goddess Athena. And it's not one of the 7 wonders of antiquity, but it's one of the monuments, or one of the Greek temples that they are most remarkable from all the Greek temples that we can have here in Greece, and also in Italy, for example, or in Spain, where the Greeks, they were in the ancient times. The Parthenon was dedicated to her. The columns, they are like in Doric style, the simple one, but I wrote there that you can read it. I'm sure the ones studying mathematics or geometry, you know a bit better than me. But the Greeks, they were not the ones that they created, but they were the ones that they started, and they used something that was called the golden ratio, or the golden mean, okay? That is like for creating buildings and to have a place dimension, they were having a relationship between the width and the height of the building. The size of the portico, the upper part of the Parthenon, and even the position of the columns for holding all the structure. Then the meaning and the feeling, it was to have a feeling that the whole building is in a proportion, in the same one. I wrote there golden ratio or not, because you are clever than me. And some people and some of the mathematicians, they think that maybe the Parthenon is not the best example, because maybe they were used, or luckily they use it. But supposedly, if it wasn't used, really, it has all the composition for having this golden ratio. That is like this golden number with the letter phi, okay? That is that mathematic symbol that has this number 1.618, okay? It's phi because it's coming also from the artist Phidias, okay? Or Phidias in Greek, that he was the one that created and made the statue inside the Parthenon for the goddess Athena, and also for the Temple of Olympia and Zeus in Olympia. But don't think, guys, that really this is just stones and it's from the ancient times. The golden ratio, it was and it has been used always and still until nowadays, because buildings like maybe you know, and maybe you're going to be able to visit in the future, or you have been, they have this divine proportion. In the Renaissance, for example, many Renaissance, like we're talking about the 13th, the 14th century, and we're talking about the Renaissance, we can be talking about Michelangelo, Leonardo in Italy, for example. Then they were the ones that also they used this golden ratio, like for example, Leonardo in the Last Supper, or in the Gioconda, the famous Gioconda in Paris, or the church, the Notre Dame church also has this proportion, the Taj Mahal in India, or the pyramids before the Parthenon. Then supposedly the Egyptians, they were the ones that they started to use and to create the golden ratio. The other building, the modern one, is the building the United Nations headquarters that is in your country, in New York. Also, supposedly, it has also this dive-in proportion. That you will see it here, and also think that it's not only here, it's everywhere. Together with Acropolis, also, I see the Renaissance. Yes, it's a beautiful period I love. I love Leonardo and Michelangelo, Raphael, and Italy, but not only, also Spain. But talking about Acropolis, many things that were found in the top of the Acropolis, okay? And then we built a museum in the 2009, that is we still call it the New Acropolis Museum. It's not so new, but still it has that name. And in that museum that will be part of the tour, you're going to be able to see all the findings that they found up in the Acropolis. They are there. A beautiful modern building that you can see in the photo. It's built in the same proportion than the Parthenon, and it's all by glass. Then from any of the floors, you're going to be able to see the Acropolis. And the top floor, it has, for example, the friezes, or not the original ones, the copy, because like the original ones, they are in London at the British Museum. Then they are there. We don't know when they're going to be back, but they are there, and we have the copies, and it's also a way to appreciate the proportion from the building to the Parthenon, okay? But Athens is not only just museums and ruins and temples and sites. Also, we have a beautiful area that is the downtown, surrounding the hill, the Acropolis. The Acropolis, I don't know if I said, but Acropolis is a Greek word, okay? Acropolis, acro, you use it, for example, in English to say acrobat, acrophobia. Acro means the edge, okay? The highest point. And polis, like for example, you use it for police, for Minneapolis, the city of the water, Indianapolis, the city of the Indians. Then polis means city. Then around the Acropolis is Plaka. Plaka is the old neighborhood of Athens with all the houses that still people they are living there, expensive area, but still people they live, with all the beautiful cafes, tavernas, restaurants, shops, and also you will have the time to take beautiful photos, to wander around in the city, also during your free time, or together with me when we are going to be together here in Athens. Then Athens is like our old town, like in many of the cities in Europe, we have like an old town, a downtown is Plaka. But leaving Athens on day 5, we are starting to explore the country. And we are going to be going to the south part of Athens, okay? That is the Temple of Poseidon, Cape Sunio. It's like at the end of the Attica region. It's like a 1 hour and a half driving, 1 hour, 20 minutes driving, like 50 miles from the city center, from Athens to Cape Sunio. And there is located the temple dedicated to Poseidon. Remember Athena, the goddess of Athens, the goddess of wisdom. Poseidon is also another god that was Poseidon for the Greeks, but you know the Romans, they copy the religious, and then is the famous also Neptune, Poseidon or Neptune, and is the god of the sea, the earthquakes, the storms, the horses, and is the beautiful temple of Poseidon that is at the end of the Attica region, and we will have time to see also the view of the Aegean Sea. And driving and living, we're going to be stopping a beautiful stop that I love. The spot is the stop of the Corinth Canal. It's like a modern Corinth Canal that was built in the late 1900s, but Corinth also was used in the ancient times. It's an important place also from the ancient times, and they didn't have the canal in that times, but if you can realize the other photo I put, it was used in the ancient times for making shorter to the sailors and the boats to go around the Peloponnese to go to Athens, okay? And from Athens to go all the way to Italy, for example. They were passing that piece of land that was Corinth, and Corinth was an important place where also St. Paul and the letters to the Corinthians, they are based there. And later they built that canal, because in the Roman times, or in the Greek times, or in the Roman times, they didn't have the technique, although some Roman emperors, when they were here in Greece, they tried, like the crazy or the mad Roman Emperor Nero. He tried, but they were not possible. But will be a beautiful spot to take photos and to see the sea from both sides. Because we'll be driving to two of the places in the Argolis area. That area is maybe one of the ancient ones in the country that we have also our tour for visiting two different civilizations. One of them, if you have been reading the Iliad or if you have been reading the Odyssey, I'm sure you know. One is Mycenae, okay? The kingdom of Mycenae. We are talking about 1600 BC, before Christ. We're talking about more than close to 5,000 years ago. Is this Bronze Age civilization, the place that is about the King Agamemnon, the King Atreus, the famous citadel or the Acropolis that they were built where the kings they were living the top of it, where the place that they started the Trojan Wars, where the Mycenaeans, they went to Troy, that is not in Greece, nowadays it's in Turkey, but everything started from there. And you will be able to see the beautiful and amazing Cyclopean walls. Cyclopeans because supposedly they were built by the Cyclops, but we will tell you more when you come. And also it has another archaeological site that is Epidaurus, the theater, that is famous for the acoustics on that day, okay? And we will go to, on the day 7, to Olympia, to ancient Olympia, famous place for the Olympic Games, like I said, for the ancient ones, for the modern ones, because also every 4 years, the torch, the Olympic flame is starting from Olympia and goes to all the different cities. And you will have the chance also to run in the stadium. You can see that the stadium that was for 45,000 spectators in those times. Because about the Olympic Games, I want to compare, because you will see in Athens, the one on the right is the Panathinaean Stadium. That was the stadium for the 1896 Olympics. And also we use it like every 4 years when the torch and the flame comes, goes to this stadium, and then it goes to the different mayors from the different cities that they will have the Olympics. And the other one is the stadium in Olympia. The stadium in Olympia, 45,000 spectators. The other one is like a 50,000 spectators. And the one in Olympia on the left, it was dedicated those games for Zeus, the father of all the gods. And the statue that we don't have a piece to prove how it was something that was considered one of the 7 wonders. And ending, traveling from Olympia, we go all the way, for me, maybe the most remarkable place, if you like mountains and if you like to go close to the sea, is Delphi, or Delphi, it's okay, but we say Delphi is the place for Apollo. Apollo, the god of the sun, the god of the music, the god of the light, of the poetry. Okay, then he was living there, and he was the one that he built the famous temple of his oracle, where all the different people from the different city-states, they were going to Delphi to ask about the future to Apollo. The place is amazing because you are up in the mountains, like more than like close to 8,000 feet. Those mountains, the Parnassus mountains, and from there you have a wonderful view to see the whole plain with all the olive trees in that valley. And we are back to Athens after all these days, but I want to point you also some highlights that they can be, or they are the highlights for me on this tour. One of them is the day 4. I didn't talk about it, but the day 4, although we are here in Athens, we're having this optional, the chance to go to have a flavor of the islands. Okay, it's like a full day to see the places that they are near the islands, and the 3 closest islands we have from Athens, and they are the islands of Hydra, Poros, and Aegina, and 3 different ones that you will have the time also to wander around. It's a relaxed day, but you will have lunch like on the boat, time to take photos, to buy souvenirs, to see the donkeys, for example, in the island of Hydra. And it's like an amazing day, and also to enjoy a beautiful sunset from the boat on the way back to Athens. This one is one of the highlights, and to see a bit of the islands of the country. And the other one is also related, because I know that many of you are studying mathematics and also geometry. And in Olympia, always when I've been a student like in your age, I thought that all these things like geometry, mathematics, pi, they were like a myth, but really it's not. They had something, it was something that it was like in those times. And in Olympia, you will have the chance also to visit one museum. It's like a interactive museum, the Archimedes Museum, that you will have the chance to practice and to solve famous puzzles, to see some creations like Archimedes. He created, like, for example, the hydraulic clock, or also the screw that, for example, he created for lifting the water from the lower part to the upper part. It's not something that we have now in the shops, or it's not something that is coming from the modern times. It's something that they had in the ancient times. And Archimedes, he was one of the first mathematicians. Also, together, he was an astronomer, also he was an inventor, he was an engineer, and really, if you are interested in mathematics, in geometry, or not at all, you will have a wonderful time also seeing all these creations that they were done in those times. And it's like a very interactive museum.
It was really cool. I think he had like a prototype of a robot there.
Yes, also
very, very advanced for the ancient world.
A robot, and also like the way to open the door. Like nowadays we have like a key to open the doors. In those times also they were able to, with cylinder with water, you were able to open your door without going to open it. So really many things we have nowadays, that we use nowadays, they are not new. They are coming from the ancient times. They had them, and we have done many of them for better, but really they had them in the ancient times. And one of the things also in Greece, and we were talking about it at the beginning, is the Greek food. You will have the chance also to enjoy, to taste many delightful types of food, famous in your country, famous also in Texas and in Houston where you live. I was Googling, like I said before, and there are several Greek restaurants around, and I'm sure you go often. And it's very famous, like not only just the Greek salad, the gyros, not the gyros, the gyros, okay, that is like with the pita bread and the meat, and also to enjoy the, for example, the famous spanakopita, the spinach pie made with spinach and also with cheese, or the olive oil, to taste the olive oil, that is the oil that mostly we're using for our cooking, or to have a wonderful and very tasteful baklava, drinking like a frappe or a nice coffee. If you like coffee, for example, we have. I put also like this kind of pastries with honey in the top. They're like our donuts, okay? We don't have Dunkin' Donuts here. I miss it. I love it. But we have like these donuts that they're like a fried donuts, and also we put like a honey or chocolate in the top. It's called lucumades. And of course, for me, remember, I'm coming from Spain, but I live here many years, and still I'm impressed about the colors of Greece. You will have like every day a different color. Can be the color of the sun when we will have a beautiful sunrise or a beautiful sunset. You will have the green of the mountains, the green of the olive trees that you will see like every day. They're going to see many trees, but mostly olive trees all over. And the blue, okay, the Aegean Sea, the blue sky that really is like our Greek flag. It's blue and white, supposedly blue like the sea and white like the clouds or the sky. Then will be the colors you will have always in your mind, and always they will be in your heart. But 9 days with me, or 9 days if you're coming here, also you're going to, or will try that you're going to be Greek, okay? I'm not going to read all that. Maybe Mrs. Chapman, she can share it with you and she can give it to you, and then you can come with some words, because one of the things that coming here that is different, like in any language, but mostly, for example, is the alphabet, okay? The alphabet, the Greek alphabet, the Greek letters that you are used to also now studying, like in mathematics, like a pi, like a phi, like a alpha, beta, gamma, delta, all these ones is not something new, but it's our alphabet. I know how to write, okay? This is maybe the hardest part of the language, but coming here, you will have to be trying some Greek words that you can study before, because some of them, like the next slide, they're really, maybe you didn't know, but they are really Greek. Like for example, mathematics is coming from the word mathematica, that means learning, means lesson, okay? Geometry, G means earth, metria means measuring, okay? Atmosphere, atmos means steam, sphera means sphere or globe. Technology, okay? Techni means craft. Logo means word or speech. A school, scholi, that also is like a lecture place, okay? Philosophy, lover of wisdom, philosophia. History, also. Dinosaur, also is a Greek word. Maybe you didn't know, but dino means terrible, okay? And sabra is lizard. Then dinosauros is a Greek word. Galaxy, galaxia, means milky, a reference to the Milky Way, that also they knew in those times. Really, you speak Greek more than you know, okay? And more than 150,000 words of English are coming from Greek words, and you have some of them there, and really, you will realize coming here or studying a bit before coming, you will realize that really many words you use in English or you use in Spanish or in French, the root is coming from the Greek. And I know you have been reading, or some of you have been reading the Odyssey. And the Odyssey, one of the two major ancient Greek epic poems, okay? We have from the ancient times, from Homer, and the Odyssey, remember, is the 10 years to return home, the Ulysses or Odyssey, to come back to Ithaca after the Trojan War. And then many other books and many other poems that have been inspired about the Odyssey. And one of them is from a Nobel Prize, famous poet from Crete, from the island of Crete, that is Cavafy, and it's Ithaca. I'm sure you know Ithaca, the place that was Ulysses, he was living, and Penelope, he was waiting, and Telemachus also, they were waiting for him after these 10 years. And you have here the English translation from this poem that, if I have time, I can read it in Greek. If not, do I have time?
Yes.
Yeah. Then you can read it in English, but the meaning is like a «Σαυγίσαι στο πηγαμό για την Ιθάκη. Να εύχεσαι να είναι μακρύς ο δρόμος, γεμάτος περιπέτειες, γεμάτος γνώσεις. Τους λεστρίγονας και τους κύκλοπας, το θυμωμένο Ποσειδώ να μην φοβάσαι. Τέτοια στο δρόμο σου ποτέ σου δεν θα βρεις, αν με σκέψεις σου υψηλή ανεκλεκτή, συγκινήσεις το πνεύμα και το σώμα σου αγγίσει. Then, like a meaning for any of you, okay, is mostly that the most important thing is not to arrive, is to enrich ourselves with everything that the path of our lives is going to bring us. And really for you the same, it's a lesson for life. It's really not to arrive, is to enrich yourself step by step, studying and traveling, and I hope you're going to be able to travel in 2022 and you can come to Greece. If you can, come. If you cannot, really travel is maybe the best lesson after your teachers and the lessons that they are trying to give it to you, but really traveling is like the best way to learn and to open your mind and your world for the future. Then, thank you in Greek is ευχαριστώ, and that means thank you. Is easy, is one of the words that they are not so easy, but you will learn it. Ευχαριστώ, and see you in Greece.
Excellent. Evaristo, thank you so much. I think that we have time for maybe just like one or two questions if anybody has something that came up. I didn't get to see the chat, but then we also do have our special guest, Ruth. Maya, did anything come up? Did you see?
Nothing came up, but there's lots of good historical features by Ms. Coleman that were in the chat, and a bunch of people were reacting to them. So that's what I saw. Salma has a question. She has said, what is your favorite thing about Greece?
My favorite thing about Greece is the history. I would like, if it could be possible, to travel maybe in the past. I would love to travel and to see how these things that I live now, that I see now, how they were in those times. Then to learn about the history, to link the history, the life, how it was in those times, to link it how we live nowadays. We didn't change so much, really. Maybe we have computer, we have internet, now we can talk from Greece all the way to Houston, but maybe in those times it was taking them longer. They were traveling maybe by boat, but I would love to see that, and I am amazed how all these ancient civilizations they were living in those times.
We have 2 or 3 or 4 questions. I'm just going to pick a couple of them.
Can you ask Ms. Coleman's?
Yes, I was going to ask Ms. Coleman's. Will you pronounce something in Greek?
Will you pronounce history in Greek? History in historia. Historia. It's a Greek word.
Very nice. And we have time for one more.
I will pick
favorite food from Greece.
Favorite food, yes.
I love everything. I love the gyros. I love the baklava. Also, now it's Christmas. It's going to be Christmas very soon. We have like some sweets that we made with almonds and with chocolate also in the top. I love them. But I like that. But I like something that the Greeks they don't know how to do. You know what it is? It's cheesecake. I love cheesecake from Cheesecake Factory, and I'm sure you have one very near to you. But I love Greek food.
Well, so I was telling Roberto that he needs to come to Houston, and I'm sure we can all go share a cheesecake together. Thank you so much. This was such a nice way of getting to leave our houses and our city for a little bit. Y'all, if you are interested in actually going to Greece and maybe meeting Roberto in person, we're having a meeting about that tomorrow evening, and you have to RSVP to get the meeting link. So I put that in the chat. If you're interested in any other form of studying abroad, including finding some scholarships, please talk with me. And that's actually who we have for our next guest, who's going to talk to us for about 10 minutes. Andrew, would you introduce Ruth?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so our special guest today is Ruth Bebron, and she was she's a Bel Air alumna. When she was here, she was a very big help to me, and she had the opportunity to study abroad in France and England. And when she was here, she was actually my drum major in the marching band here at Bel Air. And she was a very great help as a senior to all the underclassmen. And I really do appreciate her taking her time to speak with us today. So, of course, I'll go ahead and let her start.
Hey, Ruth.
Hello. Hi, Ms. Chapman. It's so good to see you even through the screen. I'm a college student, so Microsoft Teams is not my expertise. I am a Zoom-et. So this is a little different, but I'm going to figure it out. So thank you so much, Ms. Chapman, for asking me to speak with you guys today. Ms. Chapman is a teacher that is so close to my heart. She wrote my rec letters for college, for study abroad, for my scholarships. I literally could not be here without her. So I'm so thankful for her. I have never forgotten her, and I will never forget her. So yeah, a little bit about myself. My name is Ruth Bobrin. I am a first-gen college student. My parents are originally from Haiti. I was born here, but raised in Haitian culture. I'm currently a second-year student at the University of Chicago. So it's kind of insane to think that 2 whole years have passed by since I've graduated. I hope you guys get to experience that one day. It's crazy. I'm currently very close to declaring my major in global studies and my minor in French and Francophone studies. While I was at Bel Air, I was a magna student. I took both Japanese and French and took both of the APs. I actually took the Japanese AP twice. So if you have questions about that, I could tell you just a little bit. I studied abroad the summer before my senior year. It's been a minute. The summer before my senior year, I believe, I did 2 different programs. One of them was CIEE, Council of International and Educational Exchange, and the other one was BAPTEX, British American Foundation of Texas. They're both a mouthful. There were 2 separate programs. I found out about CIEE, I believe, 2 times, one from Immersion and really from Ms. Chapman. I don't know how that happened or worked out, but I eventually ended up applying, and then I applied to BAPTEX around the same time. Both of them were rigorous application processes. I think CIEE required me to do like 3 or 4 short essays and then 1 long essay, and then BAPTEX required me to do kind of like a personal statement type thing. I took the application process really seriously when I got serious about it, because at first I was scared. I feel like I did mention this to Ms. Chapman when I applied. I was scared and I didn't know if I was going to be able to pay for it. I was really concerned about money and what it would be like. I had never been out of the country before, so I was really concerned about how that would go. But a lot of people encouraged me to apply. Were just like, just do it, just do it, just do it. So I first got accepted to the Paris program for CIEE. I think at the end of January, and then not even a week after that, I got a phone call from BAPTEX saying that I had got accepted. So I was like, oh my God, like I had never been out of the country, and I'm going to 2 different countries out of the country. And it was incredible. It was an amazing experience to just prepare for that. And I like what was said about like enjoying the journey, like enjoying where you are in the journey, because it wasn't even just me traveling there, but everything that had transpired to get me there. Bel Air was super supportive, just as a school. My principal was really supportive. Ms. Chapman was really supportive. Everybody was really supportive. Of course, like I said, I was concerned about finances. I ended up getting a full scholarship from CIEE, which is totally unexpected. And then BAPTEX is a fully paid trip, so you don't pay for anything like at all. They even give you money to buy clothes or like whatever it is that you would like to buy while you were there. And then for CIEE, I had to pay for my plane ticket and also extra spending money. So that's what I was raising money for. I had like a GoFundMe, but also I just told people my story and they were so willing to give. It's not every day that a first-gen student gets 2 full ride scholarship to study abroad programs. So it was a huge accomplishment for me, and people were just extremely supportive, especially, like I said, Bel Air as a school, being a language school, an international school, was there every step of the way. So I spent 6 to 7 weeks, I believe, in Paris with a host mom. I'm actually in the process of getting into contact with my host mom. It's a little difficult, I guess, with COVID and everything going on, but I'm still trying because I had an amazing experience with CIEE. CIEE was different because it gave students a lot of liberty. It ranges from people who are in 9th grade to people who are about to go to college. And they would literally take us to like Lac de Triomphe and just drop us there. And we're like, you guys have to get home. It was insane. Like I said, I had never been out of the country. And then mind you, you couldn't use your phone because I don't know about y'all, but my parents were not paying for my mobile data in a different country. So all they gave you was this map and this small little flip phone. And they were like, you guys have got to get home. We went everywhere. We went La Seine, the river. We went to Le Louvre. We went to Lac de Triomphe. We went to Le Jardin Tuileries. We went everywhere. And every time we went, we did an excursion. They were like, get home, except for when we went to Normandy. We actually had a bus. So that was great. And it was a great time to be there. June and July is a great time to be in Europe. It's just an awesome time. So I love the liberty of having that program because it taught me how to get around by myself. It taught me a lot of independence, and it also taught me how to use a map. So when I got back, GPS was a little foreign to me. And then BAPTEX was awesome, but BAPTEX, I had a lot less liberty, which I felt like I would have wanted to do BAPTEX before CIEE, but that's just not how it worked. We went everywhere on foot or either in a bus, and we had a leader, and I like remember him so well because he would hum like classical music while we went places, while we walked, and he would just hum everything. He would hum like everything just under the planet in terms of classical music. So it was great to be, and he was very knowledgeable about the history of not just Europe, but of other Europe, of like Africa and America, and he would put all of those into whatever historical sites we were visiting that day, which was very nice. And it was also a lot close knit because we all lived in a dorm together, so I got very, very close to the cohort that I was with. So that was a huge plus for Baptex. And like I said, that was an all expenses paid trip. It was just that the application process was rigorous. So in terms of my advice for studying abroad, being a current college student studying in global studies, studying abroad, like, I knew that's what I was going to do. Like, it had to be something international. It had to be something global. And then I just accidentally stumbled into a French minor. That was not intentional. I guess all of the years of French just would not allow me to leave. But definitely study abroad because it's a life-changing experience and it will set you apart in every space that you walk into. Like, to this day, I have stuff like trinkets, little things, pens, and people are like, oh my God, where do you get that from? And I'm like, oh, this is from London. And it's just very shocking because it brings me back to those moments, because being in the US for so long, I've kind of like had more separation between me and my traveling experiences. But now that I'm gonna go study abroad again in Paris for my major, I'm like knowledgeable, I'm excited, I'm not scared, I'm not worried about finances. I know that it can work out. So I'm just ready to go. I'm just waiting for the clock to tick down and for me to pack my bags and go back to Paris and live as a college student and as an adult instead of a teenager. So study abroad. Like, don't be scared. Doesn't matter where you come from or who you're around or what environment you're in, go. Like, you have the opportunity. Bel Air is a school that will support you in that way. And I know a bunch of people, and then you come back knowing so many people. My friends are across the world. I know people who go to University of North Carolina. I know people in DC. I know people in New York, in California, in the middle of nowhere, in Delaware. Like, it's just an incredible experience. You get so much from it. So yeah, go abroad. I know it sounds scary, but seriously, like, you should go.
And Ruth, can I ask you quickly, how much did your French improve as the result of that experience? Because so many students here are taking a foreign language.
So my French went from like 0, I would say, to a good 90. Not all the way 0 because I'm Haitian, so I like understand French very well, but the professors force you to stop making the same mistakes. And if you ever really get inside of a language, that's going to be the defining factor from you, like plateauing and you excelling again, because language is a learning process. But what you really, really need as a student that's trying to advance is for them to, as soon as you make the mistake, to correct it. And it happened in every context, whether we were ordering a salad or we were saying, oh, I'm on my way home, or they would call us every day at 10 p.m. Even if we were on the phone and we made a mistake in our French and our grammar and vocabulary, they would correct it right then and there. And that's what I needed as a student. So I feel like that was what really prepared me to take French in college. And if I hadn't had that experience, it would probably be taking me longer to excel in French.
So y'all, if Ruth is still able to answer some questions, I would love to give you the opportunity of experiencing her wisdom. I do want to say, please make sure that you filled out that form to record that you were here if you're interested in doing that, and I'll send that out to your teachers. But I also just want to say, I was fortunate enough to have Ruth in my English class for both 12th grade, but like rewinding to 9th grade, it was a minute ago. It was yesterday. And now she's all grown up and graduated, but has had this experience. This time is going to pass so fast. And I know maybe it seems like a long way off, but this could be you in just a few years, having had this experience and having had your life shaped in this way. And I'm so excited to think, if I blink again, what am I going to see Ruth doing next? Probably being an ambassador somewhere. So if you need to go, just make sure you filled out that form. But if you have questions for Ruth, we're lucky to have her answering them.
Yeah.
Someone else can go first.
Okay then. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm not sure if someone else was going. I couldn't tell, but I was wondering if you already had a background in speaking French or if you had to learn that. I know someone at school who speaks fluent French, and she's from Haiti. It's a different kind, I think, but mostly similar. So,
Yeah, so French, I mean, not French. Haiti is a francophone country, so we speak both French and Haitian Creole, but how much you speak French is determined on how much schooling your parents got. That's just some background. So my parents didn't have that much formal education, so I could understand French when I was in high school very, very well. I have very good comprehension skills, but my speaking was horrible. My grammar was terrible. If you ask me today, I still think it's terrible. So that's why going to the study abroad program helped me a lot, because they really helped my grammar skills. So yeah, I had some background, but my speaking was probably at the same level as everybody else that I was in French class with.
Yeah, so if y'all have done like
Okay,
1 or 2
thank you.
years of a language, that's the perfect time. You don't need to go to another country to learn how to say hi, my name is, but like after you've got the basics down, then your accent, your comprehension is going to skyrocket. What other questions did you guys have for Ruth?
I have 2 questions, Ms. Chapman. So Ruth, are you getting your degree from the University of Chicago, or are you getting it from the university that you're going to in France?
Mhm. Yeah, so I'm getting my degree from the University of Chicago. U Chicago has a program where you actually take the classes that you need for your major when you study abroad. So the class that I'm taking in Paris, or the classes I will take in Paris, will be European civilization, but it'll be in French in Paris. So yeah, I'm just taking my regular university basics in while I study abroad.
And then my other question was, when you studied in England, how long was that? Because I know CIE is usually a 3-week program.
hmm I was in England for 2 weeks, but I was actually in Paris for about 6 or 7. I was there for a minute.
I have a question. Also, what was your experience like when you were studying abroad in Europe as a person of color?
hmm Yeah, so that's a really good question. You have the context of people, like ethnically, racially, nationally, is very different in Europe than it is in America. Um, So with that said, I don't really feel like my experience was that different. My house mom was she was very knowledgeable. She asked me if there was different Haitian foods that she wanted me to try, or if there were even American foods that she wanted us to cook. I always said no because there was nothing I was missing. Um, but yeah, I feel like it really wasn't that much different because the thing that I noticed, especially riding the trains in France, is that there's not a way that French people look, which makes you feel more comfortable. So it could be French people could look like anybody, literally anybody. It's not that much different from going to Bel Air High School. So no matter what you look like, what hair color you have, or what skin color you have, or what your eye color is, you look French. So that's why they taught us that when we were in France, the thing that's gonna get you like you're American is how you dress and when you speak. And that's why you're working on your accent is so, so important. Because if you can go from bonjour to bonjour, it'll like set you like they will never guess that you're an American in Paris. So yeah, I don't think it was that different. Just had to camouflage a little bit.
I have a question too.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm going to be a first-time participant in with the CIE program. Uh, what kind of things should I expect from that program?
A lot of paperwork, a lot of paperwork for real reasons, safety reasons, all of that good stuff. But also, you shouldn't really, you're not going to have to do much. It's a very, very, very organized study abroad program. I think it's because it's been going on for so long. So don't worry about anything. Of course, if you have questions, ask, but just go with the flow. They have you through every step of the process. They'll tell you what you need to do. They'll send 1,000 emails. So you'll be fine. Just relax and wait for the next email that they'll send you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. If anybody did find out, if anybody did find out you're from America, did they treat you any different?
Oh, of course. They definitely treated you different. They treated you very different. It's more important to be French than to be a specific color in France. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it looks like Ariana asked, how did you start looking at scholarships and really wanting to study abroad?
Yes. So I also saw a similar question that said, like, what changed my attitude? Right now, I can't really think of the defining moment where I was like, Ruth, you can do it. You know what I'm saying? But the scholarships, I think Rao Arango and One Jump are really the two that you have a good chance at getting if you're going to study abroad. And I think Rao Arango, you can get up to $1,500, which will cover your ticket. And One Jump gave me like $500. And I personally know the guy that does One Jump now. We've worked together super closely. He knows me. So yeah. But what I would say in terms of looking for scholarships is stay local. There are more scholarships for Houston people than you think there are, and those are always a shoe-in. Trying to go for like the big ones that are kind of broad and stuff, I encourage you to still try them, but definitely look at Houston scholarships. Like I said, One Jump and Rao Arango were the two that I looked at super closely. And I recommend that you guys look at them closely too, because to be honest, it's not common in HISD for students to be studying abroad, especially in these huge programs. So you're more likely to get the scholarship if you were to apply to the local ones.
Did you find out about those from Emerge at all?
Yes, both of them were from Emerge. And but One Jump, I knew him. So when he saw my story, he just was like, I got a scholarship, you should apply.
I need to ask you to, well, we're going to catch up later, but I need to ask you to who your person at Emerge is so that we can build some bridges there.
Oh, of course.
Well, guys, let's say thank you to Ruth for sharing her experience and wisdom. And I'm just so excited to hear about what she does next and also what you guys next. But thank you all so much for coming out. Remember, so we're not, next week is the week before the holidays, so we're not having a virtual tour, but we are having 3 virtual tours after we get back from the winter break: Scotland and Ireland, Peru, and Egypt. So I hope that you will join us then. And thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you, Ruth.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you, Ruth. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you.
And thank you also, Roberto. It was so nice to have the two of you together.
It was very nice, and also was very amazing to listen Ruth's story.
Yeah.
Bravo. Keep traveling.
I might take a short Greek class next after learning a couple of those words. It's coming.
You should. There are Greek language classes in Houston. Are you coming back do you know yet what you're doing for the summer?
So for the summer, no. So if you hear anything, any chatter about global international relationship internships, that's what I'm looking for. I've kind of like settled on like applying to a couple of consulting companies just because it's there and it's like it's available. But yeah, I'm looking for internships right now in Houston and Chicago. I was gonna apply to the Obama Foundation, but they're not accepting applications anymore. So, and also the Department of the people who work for the I'm forgetting the name, but the U.S. Diplomat's office or whatever, they stopped taking